special teams this year, being led by a new guy? What's it been like with Coach Harrelson taking over?
Oh, I mean, I was close with Coach Harrelson. Got to play with Coach Harrelson my freshman year. We've always been close. Talking to him is really easy. I've had a new coach every year I've been here, so it's just, I mean, it's the same thing kind of. But he's doing a great job, and I love him as a coach. I mean, he's a great leader. He's a captain when I was a freshman, so he's a really good coach, great leader.
You're one of the few positions, I think, that is expected, like, well, what you're trying to do is 100% and never make a mistake, which is not reasonable. You set the PAT record for consecutive makes last year. How do you try to surpass that? How do you just try to deal with a position where, it's not like baseball where you're going to fail 2/3 of the time and it's okay. You're expected to succeed 100% of the time.
Yeah, so as I've grown as a player, I've come to realize that, like, worrying about what's important now is huge. Like, worrying about whatever is first. So it's usually a PAT that I have to kick first, so I'm just worrying about that kick, and then I'm taking it kick by kick. So not worrying about, when we go this way, we're going to go with the wind, or when we go that way, we're going to go against it. It's none of that. It's just worrying about whatever is next for me, and off the field just as much too. I got weights after. That's going to be the most important thing of the year. So that's what's important now.
What was the win for you this summer in terms of what were you working on then, now, that you feel like is going to make a difference for you this fall in the games?
I think competing. Like, honestly, like, during the game, I really don't have to compete against others, but it just made me a better person. It changed my whole mentality. I was telling the coaches, like, every morning I just woke up, I was ready to run through a brick wall. It didn't matter. And saying that as a kicker is kind of funny, but, like, it really was. It was true. Like, every morning I was ready to go. So that, like, the competitiveness in my mindset is just a complete change. So.
Last year you had to do everything, and then at the end kind of opened up a little bit. How does that help you this year, maybe not having to do everything?
Oh, taking so much stress off me, off my shoulders. It's more of a mental game. I always say it's 90% mental, 10% physical. But yeah, the mental side is just huge. I mean, having Dylan there, he's a great punter. We all trust in him. Like, he's done a really, really good job. So having to not worry about punting as much, still getting some reps a little bit. But yeah, having to not worry about punting has been crucial for my game.
Sweet. Thank you, sir. Obviously, part of that with you coming in to take over is because you won the job at the end of the year. What was that like, trying to get into that punter role, and then how comfortable do you feel now after having a few games under your belt as the starting punter last year?
I mean, last year I had to compete a lot. I mean, Caden was getting a lot of the reps, and we had kind of a different style of punt last year. But, I mean, towards the end of the year, I really thought I felt myself picking up and getting used to our system and everything. And so, I mean, I got in rhythm towards the end of the year, and, I mean, I was able to help the team when we need them. Caden, like I said, I mean, it's hard to do all three all year long, and towards the end of the year, I could tell, and he needs some help, and that's what we're all here to do. All the specialists, we're all here to help each other.
Let's see, I think some people will kind of say system. What system is there in punting? Can you kind of explain kind of get us into the nuance of what system it means to you in terms of punting?
So system to, like, our unit, we had last year we were more of a primarily rugby team since Caden could punt right and left-footed. I'm more of a pocket punter. I can rugby as well. But last year, towards the end of the year, you could feel the wind in the games. The wind picks up and everything, and it's hard to do that consistently. And not to mention he's kicking and punting on top of that. So, and I felt like towards the end of the year, I could feel. I mean, he needed some help, and so I was like, I'd go before practice. I'd go into the wind every single day, and ended up helping us towards the end of the year.
And when you say pocket punter, what exactly are you trying to accomplish with that style of punt?
So a pocket punter, you catch it straight from the snapper and you go in a line. You're not like running right and left. I mean, having an ambidextrous punter is almost unheard of, and he was really good at it, right and left-footed. So
overall, can you just start with the return groups, and how do you feel like those two units, punt return, kick return, have been coming along?
Yeah, so I think with who we got, just personnel-wise, like Kingsley Bennett, he's a guy that's returned for us for multiple years now, and he's elected captain for a reason. Those guys believe in him. He's always a guy that takes a lot of pride in being a difference maker on that unit. And really just talking about those two units, and they're coming up kind of in our install is, we talked about in our expectation meeting, finding difference makers on this, for special teams, and that's from whether you're the front line guy and you got to go take on the linebacker that's screaming down but taking pride in the battle for field position. And I think our guys have taken a lot of pride in special teams to this point. Our coaches, the assistant coaches, not just myself, take a lot of pride in winning that third of the game. And our head coach, we talk about how we're going to play is with our Hornet edge. And, I think Coach Higgins does a great job of, he likes to go tempo and throw the ball around, but he's invested in special teams. He's in those meetings and he's coaching hard. And, we really do just try to treat, every opportunity we have to go make a difference in the game. That's what we're gonna strive to do. So
you were probably in some special teams meetings before, but what's it been like to be kind of the guy who's now probably more in charge of those meetings?
Yeah, I think it's a blessing, and again, I give a lot of credit to this staff. They do a great job of giving us ideas. There's not ever a bad idea, and believing in what we all say, and they back me up. And then again, like having a guy like Caden Dodson, he's been a guy that's just been a difference maker for years now for us. Was elected captain, so when you got your field goal kicker and your kickoff kicker, that's the one that can stand in front of the room and show how important it is. And those guys voted for Caden Dodson. He is a difference maker, not just on special teams, but for this unit. And to have, I'm blessed to be, my first year as special teams coordinator, to have Dottie kind of just to lead the pack. And he's done a great job of doing that so far.
Well, you've had some heat here these last 2 days of practice that have kind of been a lot more normal-ish as you get ready for next week. Do you feel like the guys at the end of the first week probably naturally start wearing down a little bit as they get all the pads on, but you feel like they'll be able to bounce back after the off day and come back with the energy that you expect on Monday?
They better bounce back. To me, they should. Yes, I do. It is different nowadays with camp. And I agree with the day off, but there should be no issue with those guys bouncing back. There's no more double days. They practice once a day. Yeah, there's a lot of things they have to do mentally, okay? But, they get a break tomorrow. They should come back ready to practice the right way on Monday. So, that's where, good teams, leadership, things like that will come into play.
You've got a guy in Dodson that set the record for consecutive PATs in the history of this program last year. With a guy in a position like that, it's not like baseball where, you hit 300 and you're a great hitter. Obviously, the only acceptable percentage in field goal kicking is 100%. How do you feel like he deals with that pressure and what comes along with being the kicker?
Yeah, PATs especially, 100%. Well, here's the thing about Caden Dodson. He's a captain for a reason. He's very competitive. He cares and loves his football program as much as any player that I've ever coached. And that was proven in the way that he conducted himself, or it is proven in the fact that the way that he conducted himself when he interviewed with the coaches. He did a great job, and he cares. It matters to him. So whatever he needs to get better at, I'm not going to tell him a pointer, okay, because I just know the end result, whether it's between the uprights or it's not. And but whatever he needs to do to improve, he is going to take it upon himself to do that. So he works as hard as any other position on this team, and he's done a great job, not only for us in special teams, but also just with his leadership too. And he has respect from the players here. And again, very rarely do you see very many specialists be team captains. Now, Ross Brunghart was, and he was the same way. He cares about this football program today just as much as he did when he played.
You've got not a new guy, but a new role. What's it been like for Coach Harelson and have him move over and take over special teams coordinator?
I think that he's ready. I think that I know how Cade is. I know how he was when he played here. I know that he wants to make us better on special teams, and he's heard me say that we should be better on special teams because of our personnel. We got very talented players here, and I've said that. And I think we have a lot of depth right now. Okay, so there should be multiple guys that can help us on special teams. Where I think that we got to make sure that not only Cade does, but also the other coaches that coach special teams is, our players are going to have to buy into that unit and understand that it's just as important as an offensive unit and a defensive unit. And it makes a difference, and it makes a difference in this conference.
Can you talk about that just a little bit? Because, you think people hear special teams coordinator and all that, I think that's what you worry about. But he's a linebacker coach, and then there's a whole lot of different things, just how your entire coaching staff helps with special teams.
Yeah, he does what it says. He coordinates it. There's different coaches in charge of different units, punt return, kickoff coverage. Now Coach Harelson, I think, is in charge of two of them. And they meet just like we meet offensively and defensively. And, my job as a head coach is to be in those meetings when I can be in there, and not only be in the coaches' meetings, but also be in there when they're meeting with the players on special teams. I think that's important. So he has help, and again, our coaching staff or this coaching staff, they do a great job. It means something to them to do a great job, and they do. And, so I know he depends on those guys, and he believes in those guys that are helping him.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
You bet.
See you next
See you.